Hello there BookTube, it's Janet, and today I've got my March wrap up. I read 14 books in March, which I'm really thrilled about. I took part in 3 readathons, which were the Emojiathon, the Irish Readathon and March Mystery Madness, and I also went to jail 3 times, but I was very happy to be there. So I'm going to first wrap up my Emojiathon reads. So the first challenge that I completed for Emojiathon was listen to an audiobook, and I listened to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is book 4 in the Harry Potter series, read by Stephen Fry. This is uncharted territory for me. I've not read all the Harry Potter books. I've read the first 3 and I reread them all on audiobook, but when I got to book 4, never ever read this one before. Absolutely loved it. I'm watching the films after I've read the books as well, and it's made me realise that there is so much missing from the film that you get in the book, but the law is you always get more from the book than you do from the film. Absolutely adored it. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the converted here. The next Emojiathon category was read a book that you'd never heard of before, and at the time I'd never heard of Scythe by Neil Shusterman, but I found it when I was just browsing through books and I bought it when I was in Bath. If you've seen me on this channel before, you know that I absolutely adored it. I love this book so much, and yeah, I'm so glad that I picked it up. It's amazing, blew me away, 5-star plus plus plus. And then that led to the next prompt on Emojiathon, which was read any book that you want, and this is a book that I went to jail for because I had to then read Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, which is the second in the trilogy that's just come out. Again, absolutely amazing, totally loved it, and I'm gonna have to wait God knows how long till the 3rd one comes out, but oh Neil, please hurry. I'm so in love with this series. The next one I read, in fact I think I've probably been in jail more than 3 times this month, because I was in jail for Thunderhead and now I was in jail for this one, and the next one on the Emojiathon was read a sci-fi book, and so obviously I had to read Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I've had this on pre-order for ages, so technically I didn't buy it this year, but it's the final one to the Illuminae Chronicles, and as usual it was amazing. The trilogy is fantastic, absolutely loved it. It's way over 600 pages long, which is huge for me, but I just gobbled it up in 2 days. Yeah, can't say enough about it. If you've not read this series, I thoroughly recommend it. I loved it. So all the books so far that I have actually been to jail for were well worth it, and I read them as soon as I bought them, which is in the rules if you are following the Bookopoly rules. The next prompt for Emojiathon was read a non-fiction book, and I read Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls Volume 2. Again, I went to jail for this one, but I did read it again as soon as I got it, which follows on from the fabulous first one, which is all about fantastic women who some you may have heard of, some you may not have heard of, who have achieved great things in their life, and you just get 1 page and one picture per story, and they're absolutely brilliant, and I loved that too. And the final prompt was read a mystery or thriller. Now this does double up with one of my other readathons, Murphy's Law by Rhys Bowen, and so this follows a young Irish girl who has to flee her home country, and she goes across to New York in the time of 1901, and where she starts to work as a private detective. So that was it for Emojiathon. My wrap up now for the March Mystery Madness. Just mentioned that the first one I read was Murphy's Law by Rhys Bowen, and that was for the prompt read a book that includes travel, and obviously she's travelling across the ocean. And so I then also read the next 2 in the series, Death of Riley and For the Love of Mike, so that's another 2 books, so that's 3 so far that I've read in March Mystery Madness, and I absolutely enjoyed these as well. Just nice cosy crime. And then the next one I read for March Mystery Madness was Knots and Crosses by Ian Rankin, the first one in the Rebus stories, completely opposite to the Molly Murphy books. I enjoyed it. It's obviously the start of a series. It was Ian Rankin's first book, so Rebus did annoy me at times because he seemed just a bit wet. Not at all the character that you see on the TV show, so obviously he does develop somewhat, although I should give him a break because he's obviously got PTSD. So I read that one, and then I am in the middle of Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie. I'm listening to that on audiobook. which I'll probably finish in the next couple of days. So that's what I've done for March Mystery Madness. And then finally, for the Irish Readathon, we've got Making It Up As I Go Along by Marion Keyes, and this is a collection of Marion's journalism, previously published and some that hasn't been unpublished, and I absolutely loved it. It made me laugh out loud. Got another non-fiction, and this is I Am by Maggie O'Farrell, and this is 17 Brushes with Death, which made me severely anxious and very, very concerned for Maggie, because some of the things that have happened in her life are absolutely terrible, and I worry about this poor woman. On audiobook, I read Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, which is from the 18th century. Got a quarter of the way in. It was all about, it got to the point where it's all about Lilliput, which is, you know, probably the most well-known bit of the story, but DNF'd it because I think just the language that it's written in, it's very, there's a lot of writing around the story, if you know what I mean, so I just got a bit bored with it, so I DNF'd that one. But what I did complete on audiobook was the play Lady Windermere's Fan by Oscar Wilde, and it's very short, it's only a couple of hours, and it's full cast, so absolutely loved it. And it's all about, you know, it's a comedy of manners of the time, a little bit of scandal going on, but really enjoyed it. So yeah, thoroughly recommend that one. I read Flawed by Cecilia Ahern, which is a YA dystopian, first part in a duology. Absolutely gripped me, loved it so much. And then obviously I had to go back into jail again because I had to buy Perfect, which I am almost finished, and this is the second one, and it's well worth going into jail for. Fabulous series, loved it so much. What I'm absolutely thrilled about this month is 5 of the books that I've read were 5-star reads, which is unheard of for me. To get 5-star reads in 1 month is fabulous. I don't very often give 5 stars away, so I've had a fantastic reading month. So what I forgot to do in March is pick my chance and my community chest cards for the month of March. So I'm going to pick now my March one and my April one, because I completely forgot, because I was so caught up in reading all the fantastic books. I'm going to first pick my 2 chance cards, so I'm going to give them a good shuffle, and I'm going to pick 1 and 2. So we have got, and that is read a book with a 1-word title, and this is Start, and this will be Start a New Series, which will fit in nicely for my plans for April. And now I'll pick my 2 community chest books, which are books that have been recommended by booktubers to read, and although I haven't read my February one yet, it has been put to one side and I will get around to it. It's on my this year's TBR pile. So I'll just pull 1 and 2 out. So I've got book number 2, which I'll go and find in a moment and unwrap, but I've also got a get out of jail free card, which means that if I buy a book, and I'll call this for April, I don't have to read it straight away to get out of jail. So basically it means I can buy a book and have the freedom to buy the book and not feel like I've got to read it immediately. So that's cool. So I'll go and find book number 2, and I'll come back and I'll unwrap it for you and tell you what it is. Community chest cards I put from 1 to 12 on them. They represent books that we bought because they were recommended by booktubers. Wrapped them all up, got my husband to number them. So this is number 2, so let's see what it is and I'll tell you who recommended it. This is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. It's the first one in, well, I think it's more than a trilogy now. I've got them all on my shelves, still not read them. Maybe it's time I did. And this I've seen on a lot of people's channels, but particularly it was recommended when I saw Lorna from Suddenly Lorna review the series and absolutely rave about it. So it was from her channel and her review that I bought this book. So that will be my March community chest pick. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of whack, but yeah, I think it is time that I actually found out what this series was all about. So let me know how you're getting on with your reading, and we'll catch up in the comments down below. Keep reading, BookTube. I'll see you all soon. Bye!